They sent Lieutenant Mara Vance to the royal nursery as punishment, which was how the court of Elir hid fear beneath courtesy. Mara was a human marine, blunt, scarred, and difficult to intimidate, and after she embarrassed ministers by exposing a palace security flaw, they removed her from tactical command and handed her the quietest post on the ship. Guardian of eggs, hatchlings, nurse drones, and sleeping heirs, keeper of the next generation of the throne. The nobles smiled as though they had buried her in silk, but they misunderstood the assignment completely. Because humans do not become less dangerous when placed near children. They become absolute. The nursery sat high inside the living palace ship. Warm with starlight and humming gene vaults, there were 12 heirs within it. 6 in translucent eggs, 3 hatchlings, and 3 older children already trained to bow before they could truly run. Everything looked perfect, and Mara distrusted that at once. The guards stood beautifully instead of usefully. The drones followed fixed routes. The shutters closed too slowly. And everyone assumed anything inside a royal chamber had already been made safe. Mara had seen that kind of thinking before. It usually ended in blood, so she made changes without ceremony. She turned evacuations into games, moved supplies daily, hid medkits in wall panels, and taught Princess Irie and Prince Selen how to carry smaller heirs through service vents if the lights ever died. Then one of the eggs shifted when the air was perfectly still. And Mara knew danger was already inside the palace. She reported her concerns. The chamberlain thanked her with polished contempt, and tradition dismissed her more efficiently than an order ever could. Mara saluted, ignored him, and kept building her own defense. She rekied to maintenance passages, seeded false nursery readings into the monitors, and taught the children hand signals. They trusted her because she did not bow. She corrected their claws, read them Earth stories about wolves in winter, and answered impossible questions with simple human honesty. When a hatchling asked what to do if someone tried to take his brother, Mara said, "Bite first, scream later, and never let evil think you will cooperate." Below the nursery, treason finished sharpening its teeth. The attack began during a palace procession. When every camera watched the queen, Mara saw it before the alarms. One feed looped half a second too smoothly. One guard moved like a killer. And the air took on a sweet, metallic scent that did not belong. She sealed the intake, dropped armored petals over the eggs, and shouted one command, "Nest pattern now." The older heirs ran exactly as drilled. The official alert came 6 seconds later. 6 seconds that would have killed them all if Mara had waited for permission. And then the nursery doors began opening from the outside. 3 men in royal security colors came through with live carbines. Mara shot the first before he cleared the frame, broke the second against the narrowing door, and killed the third at arm's length with his own toxin spur by the time she stood. The corridor lights were crimson and the palace net was collapsing. No rescue would come in time. So she looked at 12 heirs, 6 living eggs, and 1 burning hall between them and survival, then made a new route. She took them into the service arteries of the ship, carrying 2 eggs in a sling made from curtain mesh, while Selen dragged another cradle behind him. Around them the coup spread floor by floor. Mara kept the children moving with the clipped rhythm of war. Count breaths, check corners, step where I step. At an old turbine spine, she found the real goal of the attack, a charge wired into incubator life support. Not murder, extinction, kill the eggs, and the dynasty ends. She disarmed it with blood-slick hands, while Irie held the light steady and did not cry. If the royal line was going to live, it would have to cross fire and follow a human through it. The final obstacle was the escape cradle bay, 1 lift away and full of gunfire. The traitors had guessed where desperate people would run. Mara could not take the children through that storm, so she gave Selen the override ring, put Irie in charge of the younger ones, and barred the hatch behind her. Alone, she walked toward the bay with an empty rifle and a fire suppression canister. Later, the survivors argued over what happened next. Some said she roared, some said she smiled, some swore her heartbeat never changed. What mattered was simple. The gunfire turned away from the lift. The smoke alarms all triggered at once. And for one impossible minute, a single human bent an entire kill team around sheer refusal. When loyalist Marines finally broke in, they found traitors dead across the bay, the launch cradle gone, and Mara collapsed against the rail, burned, bleeding. Still trying to stand because she had not yet seen the children clear the ship and above the burning palace, the royal line survived because the human would not stop. The coup failed before dawn. The queen lived, the traitors were taken, and across the Illyrian worlds one recording spread faster than any decree, a smoke-filled feed from the cradle bay. A human voice saying, "Hold the egg higher. Good, now move. You are the line." You do not get to quit when Mara woke in recovery. The smallest hatchling was asleep beside her bed, and the queen stood waiting without her crown. She offered titles, land, command, anything the throne could give. Mara asked only one question. Is the nursery secure now? The queen understood at once. From that day forward, the nursery command became the most honored post in the empire. And every royal child learned the same first lesson before law, before history, before the names of stars. The throne endured because one dangerous outsider had been told to protect children, and she had taken that personally.